Well, hello, boys and girls. Welcome to Can't Wait Wednesdays, where we preview upcoming films of the weekend here on the KB Radio Network. I am your host, Kevin Reed, and today we have a few feature films that may be up your alley. How are we doing out there in podcast listening land? These are three exciting new films for various reasons, which we're going to go over, and all are coming out this weekend. One is available to you right now if you're a Netflix subscriber, and that is a fantasy film directed by Paul Feig, who you may know his work. He directed Bridesmaids, Spy, also directed the all-female led Ghostbusters film. This go around, he is directing The School for Good and Evil, which is available on Netflix right now. It dropped today. And this is a film that intrigues me for one reason and one reason alone. All the actors. This is a stacked cast, which means diddly poo as of late. It doesn't ensemble cast used to mean something. That used to mean that you had a juggernaut of a film in store, but lately, those been the worst films as of late. Well, maybe I'm being unfair. There have been some good ones, but the majority of them has been kind of when you have a big ensemble cast like this. But this looks interesting. It looks more of a kid's film. It's based on a 2013 novel of the same name, and the film stars Lawrence Fishburne, Michelle Yeoh, Kerry Washington, Charlize Theron, Cate Blanchett. The list goes on and on. It's so many different actors and actresses in here that are like top tier talent. But they're more of supporting, to be honest with you. We have a lot of young cast in here. Of course, it's based in a school, but I guess they play more of teachers and whatnot. But the premise of it is best friends Sophie and Attica are kidnapped and taken to a school for good and evil. After their fortunes are reversed, the duo try to figure out a way to return home. In doing so, their friendship is put to the test. This film was initially going to be released in theaters. Universal Pictures was going to release the film, but they sold it to Netflix, and voila, we have it on Netflix now. I don't know what that means. Lately, you have a few examples of studios selling films to streaming platforms that they felt weren't going to do too good box office wise, a la Samaritan, starring Sylvester Stallone. That was initially going to be released in theaters, ended up being released on Prime Video. Coming to America a couple of years ago. That was initially going to be released in theaters, and they dropped that on Prime Video for good reason. And so they're kind of, there's been a few other films that have done that as well. Some have worked out. The film, oh man, it was just on the tip of my tongue, and now it escapes me. It went to Netflix. It was a romantic comedy. It was set in New Orleans, by the way. I can't remember the name of it. It was just a couple of years ago, but it was a good movie. But anyways, I don't know if that's a good or bad sign. I'm kind of on the fence with it, but this just looks like a interesting premise, and it's worth a watch. So I will check it out this weekend if I have time. The School for Good and Evil is available right now on Netflix. So that's it for those streaming services. Our other two films are being released in theaters, and for good reason. This has, superstar status attached to it. This isn't just these aren't just throwaway films, even though this one in particular that we're about to discuss is not my cup of tea. But the two actors that are starring in this film are actors that I historically enjoyed watching on screen, and that is Ticket to Paradise, which stars George Clooney and Julia Roberts, who we know starred together in the Ocean films, Ocean 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, you know, all those Ocean films. And they have wonderful chemistry. Actually, they're good friends, probably best friends, whatever, off screen. So the chemistry is there. And this is from the director of Mamma Mia. So take that as you will. If you enjoyed the Mamma Mia films, which I've never seen either one of them, but they were successful films, and those people who love Alba enjoyed those films, from what I understand. So, hey, it is what it is. That was romantic comedy musical, and this is a romantic comedy as well. This film looks like a film, just judging by the trailers, it looks like a film that is 20 years too late. It just feels like a early 2000s comedy that would have done massive at the box office. You know, with these two stars especially. So I don't know what it's going to do this weekend. Plus, it's going up against a juggernaut that we're going to get to, but I don't see it making monster box office in the theaters. But it could be good counter programming for those people who are fans of these stars. It may turn out to be a good movie. I can't see them both. Well, let me take that back. I'm about to make a massive mistake, because George Clooney has been in some stinkers, and Julia Roberts has as well. So I'm not gonna. I was gonna say I can't see them signing on to being just a stupid little comedy, but they've done it before. So it is, as they say, it is. But the plot of Ticket to Paradise goes as such. Two divorced parents, David and Georgia Cotton, travel to Bali after learning their daughter, Lily, is planning to marry a man named GD. I believe that's how it goes, whom she had just met. They decide to work together to sabotage the wedding to prevent Lily from making the same mistake they made 25 years ago. Now, that's an interesting premise, but being as though this is a romantic comedy, I'm pretty sure we all know how this movie is going to end. What journey they're going to go on throughout this film. They're going to realize, oh, we didn't make a mistake. We actually loved each other, and blah, blah, blah. And everybody's going to ride off into the sunset. So I could be completely wrong. It could go left. I don't know. There's only one way to find out, and that's check out Ticket to Paradise this Friday, October the 21st in theaters. So that leads us to the big dog of the weekend. And I mean big dog of the weekend. This is one of my highly anticipated films of the year. I'm going to say decade, because this has been in the making for years. I remember when The Rock, or Dwayne Johnson, announced that he was going to be Black Adam. Because I was excited. I've always been a fan of The Rock. I'm a huge WWE fan, so I've been following The Rock forever. And when he got into films, it was a smooth transition, because I saw it when he was wrestling. You know, he just has the it factor. So I always wanted to see him as a superhero. Didn't think it would be Black Adam. that was the last thing that crossed my mind, was Black Adam. But as time grew on, I started chumming up to the idea of him being Black Adam, because Black Adam in the comics is a villain. He is Shazam's arch rival. So I never pictured that, especially after the Shazam film came out, and you know, you had Zachary Levi and all that there, and I'm like, well, Zachary Levi going up against The Rock, that doesn't that just didn't excite me in the least bit. I was like, and you know, because I figured The Rock would squash him. You know what I'm saying? Even though Zachary Levi, I watched the film and I enjoyed it. It's one of my favorite DC films. But this 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 is more of an anti-hero story, which of course, Black Adam in the comics, he's been an anti-hero. He's fought alongside the Justice Society and the Justice League, and he's also went up against them all. So there have been comic issues where he was the anti-hero and the villain of the story. We have epic comics with him and Superman going at it because he can go toe-to-toe with Superman due to the fact his powers are based in magic. And one of Superman's weaknesses is magic. So he can really bring it to Superman. So I was excited about that possibility as well. But here we are. Finally, we are getting this film. And it is, of course, Black Adam. And it is a superhero film based on DC Comics character of the same name. And it's directed by the same director who just recently directed Dwayne Johnson in Jungle Cruise. He also directed about 20 different Liam Neeson action films. Nonstop, I think, is one of them. And a few others. I can't think of their names right now. But I remember Nonstop. I recently not watched Nonstop. But he's also directing this film. And this film is produced by Dwayne Johnson along with others, and I'm kind of excited. My expectations kind of lowered in the last couple of weeks for some reason. I don't know the reason why, but if you had asked me like earlier this year, I would have been super excited. I was like, man, put it out now. I'm ready. Give it to me. But now it's like, whatever. Okay, it's coming out. And I'm downplaying it. I'm excited, but I'm not like, oh man, I gotta break down the theater doors to get to my seat to watch it. I don't know what happened. They didn't do anything. It wasn't like the trailer spoiled anything or anything like that. It's just I got a feeling. I got a feeling that this is not going to live up to whatever expectation I may have had earlier on when they were making this film. But I'm feeling confident that it's going to be good. I'm not, to be honest with you, I know it's going to be pretty good because I have zero expectations for it. I have zero expectations for this movie because DC is a roller coaster ride when it comes to DC and their film adaptations. It's up and down like crazy. Either you love it or you hate it. There's not too many where you can be like, oh, it was all right. Yeah, not with DC. You can do that with Marvel. And I hate using these comparisons, but I can't help it on this case. But with DC, either you love a film like Man of Steel or you hate it. I've never seen or heard anybody say that it was an all right movie. Same thing with Batman v Superman. Either you loved it or you hated it. Justice League, same thing. Suicide Squad, same thing. There's never a straddling of the fence when it comes to DC films. And with this one, I haven't seen anything to really reach out and say, okay, this is going to be the deal breaker. Now, I hope that it is. I hope this is the one that just catapults the DC films to the next level. We'll see. But the premise of Black Adam, in case you don't know who Black Adam is, after nearly 5,000 years of imprisonment, Black Adam, an anti-hero, is unleashed into modern times. His brutal tactics and way of justice attract the attention of the Justice Society of America, who tries to stop his rampage, teach him how to be a hero more than a villain, and must team up to stop a force more powerful than Adam himself. As I said before, this film stars Dwayne Johnson or The Rock, whichever one you want to refer to him as, starring as, of course, Black Adam. We have Aldris Hodge starring as Hawkman. Yeah, we have a black Hawkman in the world. That's going to be interesting. Noah Central as Atom Smasher. We have Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate, who is DC's version of Doctor Strange. So this is going to be interesting. And they have some, because it's been widely reported. I'm not going to say it here because I don't want to spoil it. But they have some cameos in here that's supposedly big as far as the future of the DC universe. So can't wait to see that, or how they pull that off, and how they're going to move this story along. My biggest thing with it, and I guess this is probably why I kind of toned down my excitement towards it. It's hard to have Black Adam without Shazam. You know, the two go hand in hand. That was my thing with the Joker movie. You know, how you gonna have a Joker movie without Batman? But that they pulled it off. They pulled it off in Joker. This ain't Joker. This doesn't. This is not the same quality as Joker. So I'm not. I'm kind of optimistic about how this is going to play out. But I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe Shazam pops up in a post-credit scene or something like that. Who knows? I don't know. Like I said, none of that was reported. I hadn't heard nothing about that. Actually, I've been staying away from potential spoilers to this film because I want to be as surprised as you are when we check out Black Adam this Friday, October the 21st in theaters. So those are your choices this week. We have The School for Good and Evil, which is available right now on Netflix. We have Ticket to Paradise, which stars George Clooney and Julia Roberts, available in theaters this Friday, October the 21st, as well as Black Adam in theaters this Friday. So which one are you excited about? Look, y'all, neither of them are moving the needle. To be 100% honest with you, I'm not. I don't know. I thought I was going to be excited about this upcoming weekend with Black Adam, but I'm not. I'm not. I guess because I've been hurt. I've been hurt before. You ever been in a relationship with somebody who was hurt in a previous relationship? No matter what you do, no matter how much you display your love for that person, nothing makes them happy. You know, it's like they're just stuck in the past. They can't get over being hurt by their last spouse or mate or whatever. But now you're here and you're trying to be that somebody for them, that person for them, and they just can't bring themselves to love you because they've been hurt and damaged before, or you probably are that person that ruined your relationship because you're too busy stuck in the past. This is how I am, and I know that's a bad metaphor. But that's the only thing that popped in my mind. This is how I am with DC films. I've been hurt. I got my feelings I had my heart ripped out of my chest and monkey stomped into the cement by Batman v Superman. I mean, just demolished. And I'm one of the rare people that didn't mind the movie, but I wanted more. I wanted something else, and I didn't get it. And I've been hurt ever since. And the less talked about that Josh Whedon edition of Justice League, the better, because that was another one. I still opened my heart up to DC, said, here we go. And it stomped me again. You know, the Suicide Squad. Well, Suicide Squad, not the Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad, the one with Will Smith and all that in it. Once again, got stomped. got curb stomped. Now they've came back and kissed me on the cheek with Zack Snyder's Justice League. They kissed me on the other cheek with James Gunn's Suicide Squad. Then they came right back around and stomped me again with Wonder Woman 84. So it's a lot of emotions wrapped up here, because DC is like my favorite of the comics. I love Marvel. I read all the, I used to read the X-Men, Spider-Man, all that, but I love Marvel, but DC I gravitated to more. So when they started making DC movies, those were the ones I would run to the theater to see. I was happy to see Marvel, but I wanted to see DC because those were the comic books that I enjoyed the most, and they just can't get it right. I hope and pray that we get at least a decent film. A decent film here. We shall see. But what's more important is, what are you excited about? Let me know by emailing the show, kbradiopodcast@gmail.com. Hit me up on Twitter at the KB Radio Network. Easy way to get in touch with the show there. Also, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, don't forget about the 5-star ratings and reviews. Please, ma'am, please, sir, leave those, as well as sharing the show. Let everybody know you're listening to Can't Wait Wednesdays here on the KB Radio Network. Glad you joined me today. Can't wait for this weekend to check out these movies, because I'm a movie lover. Even though I'm not super excited for these movies, I am super excited for these filmmakers. These are all 3 properties are stocked filled with talented filmmakers. Now, whether the films are any good or not, we shall see this weekend. Everybody, I want you all to know that I love you. Continue to love one another. And until we speak again, you all be blessed.